The global financial landscape is dominated by the concept of a reserve currency. Currently, the US dollar serves as the world's primary reserve currency. This status grants the United States significant economic and geopolitical advantages. However, shifts in global power dynamics could challenge this dominance. Emerging economies and alternative financial systems are potential catalysts for change. The question arises, could another currency supplant the US dollar as the world's reserve? In 2025, the global financial landscape is projected to undergo substantial transformations. The BRICS nations are actively pursuing the establishment of an alternative global financial system. This initiative aims to challenge the dominance of the US dollar, which has prevailed for 80 years. The BRICS Economic Alliance is accelerating plans to create a new financial order. The shift could lead to a more multipolar financial world. The video will explore how the BRICS Alliance aims to reshape the global economy. It will analyze the potential impact of BRICS on the dominance of the US dollar. The analysis will focus on understanding the financial implications for individuals. BRICS' strategies and initiatives will be examined in detail. The video aims to provide insights into potential shifts in the global financial landscape. Viewers can expect to learn about the possible effects on their personal financial future. BRICS is an acronym representing 5 major emerging economies. The member countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These nations collectively hold a substantial share of the global population. BRICS countries also account for a significant portion of the world's total economic output. The alliance serves as a platform for economic cooperation and development initiatives. BRICS aims to promote multilateralism and represent the interests of emerging economies on the global stage. The US dollar achieved status as the world's reserve currency following World War II. This development significantly strengthened American economic influence on a global scale. The Bretton Woods Agreement played a crucial role in formalizing this system. Under this agreement, many global currencies were linked to the dollar, which was backed by gold reserves. BRICS nations have experienced rapid economic growth. This growth has propelled them into significant roles in global trade. BRICS nations are also major players in international investment. These nations are now seeking greater influence on the world stage. They aim to increase their impact within international institutions. Examples of such institutions include the IMF and the World Bank. De-dollarization refers to the strategic reduction of dependence on the US dollar. This process aims to diversify away from the dollar in international trade and financial systems. BRICS nations are actively promoting de-dollarization initiatives. A key motivation is to mitigate exposure to US economic policies and potential sanctions. De-dollarization seeks to foster greater economic independence and stability. This shift involves promoting alternative currencies and payment systems. A primary motivation for BRICS nations is achieving greater economic independence. This involves diminishing reliance on the US dollar in international trade and finance. The BRICS nations aim to foster a more balanced, multipolar global financial system. This shift seeks to distribute economic power more equitably among nations. Ultimately, BRICS seeks to reshape the global economic landscape. Geopolitical tensions are influencing the global financial landscape. Increased tensions between the West and nations like Russia and China are a key factor. These tensions have accelerated the trend of de-dollarization. Sanctions imposed by the West have prompted countries to seek alternatives to the dollar. Trade disputes have further highlighted the potential risks associated with dollar dependence. Countries are actively seeking to reduce their reliance on the US dollar in international trade and finance. BRICS nations are creating alternative payment systems. These systems aim to bypass the SWIFT network. The SWIFT network is largely controlled by Western countries. The goal is to facilitate trade among BRICS nations. This would allow trade transactions without using the US dollar. The initiative seeks to reduce reliance on Western financial infrastructure. Following the imposition of sanctions, Russia altered its payment policies for energy exports. Russia began requiring payment in rubles for its energy exports. Russia also accepted payments in currencies other than the US dollar or the euro. This shift aimed to reduce reliance on Western financial systems. The strategy sought to mitigate the impact of sanctions on Russia's economy. This change in policy affected international energy trade dynamics. Some BRICS nations are considering alternatives to the US dollar for currency backing. One proposed alternative involves backing their currencies with gold. Another option under consideration is backing currencies with other commodities. The aim is to provide a more stable foundation for their currencies. Commodity backing could potentially reduce reliance on the dollar's stability. This shift reflects a search for greater economic independence and stability. The New Development Bank, NDB, also known as the BRICS Bank, finances infrastructure projects. NDB member countries receive funding for critical infrastructure development. This financial support decreases reliance on Western-dominated financial institutions. The NDB provides an alternative source of funding for developing nations. De-dollarization involves countries reducing their reliance on the US dollar in international trade and finance. A key challenge is establishing alternative reserve currencies and payment systems. Geopolitical factors and the desire for economic independence are driving forces behind this trend. Opportunities exist for countries to foster stronger regional trade relationships using local currencies. However, the US dollar's entrenched position presents a significant hurdle to widespread de-dollarization. A decline in the dollar's dominance may trigger a series of economic shifts. One potential consequence is an increase in interest rates within the United States. Higher interest rates can impact borrowing costs for consumers and businesses. Additionally, the dollar's value on international markets could decrease. A weaker dollar may affect import prices and international trade dynamics. The adoption of alternative currencies can lead to shifts in international trade patterns. This shift may result in the emergence of new trade dynamics and relationships between countries. Businesses in BRICS nations could find new opportunities due to these evolving trade patterns. These opportunities may include increased trade volumes and market access. The changes in global trade could lead to a more diversified and balanced international economy. The US dollar's status as a global reserve currency influences its demand. A decrease in foreign demand for dollars could occur if it loses its reserve status. Reduced demand for the dollar may lead to its devaluation. A weaker dollar can result in higher inflation within the United States. Emerging markets with substantial dollar-denominated debt are vulnerable to fluctuations in the dollar's value. A decline in the dollar's value can create significant challenges for these economies. These challenges primarily stem from the increased cost of repaying dollar-denominated debts. A weaker dollar can inflate the local currency equivalent of these debts. This situation can strain national budgets and potentially lead to economic instability in affected emerging markets. Consider a hypothetical scenario where oil transactions are no longer denominated in US dollars. This shift would fundamentally alter the dynamics of the global energy market. Nations could bypass the US financial system in oil trading, reducing the dollar's global influence. The balance of economic and political power among nations could be significantly reshaped. Alternative currencies might emerge as dominant players in international trade and finance. The US dollar currently holds a position of significant global dominance. This dominance is deeply entrenched within international finance and trade systems. Replacing the dollar entirely presents a substantial challenge. No single currency possesses the existing infrastructure to fully supplant the dollar. Even a coordinated alliance of currencies would face considerable hurdles in overcoming the dollar's established position. The dollar's widespread use and acceptance create inertia that is difficult to overcome. A shift away from the dollar will create both winners and losers on a global scale. Certain countries are positioned to benefit from reduced reliance on the US currency. These benefits may include increased trade opportunities and reduced financial vulnerability. Similarly, some businesses will thrive in a less dollar-centric economic environment. Conversely, other countries and businesses may face challenges adapting to this new reality. The US dollar's global role is subject to change in the future. It is expected to remain significant in the global economy. However, its dominance may decrease gradually over time. This shift reflects evolving economic and geopolitical landscapes. The ascent of BRICS underscores the significance of diversifying economic activities. Over-reliance on a single currency can expose economies to vulnerabilities. Dependence on a single economic power poses inherent risks. BRICS nations illustrate the benefits of exploring multiple economic partnerships. Diversification strategies can enhance economic resilience and stability. This act focuses on a small business owner's financial strategy. The owner proactively diversified their currency holdings. This diversification was a deliberate financial decision. The business owner ultimately benefited from this strategic shift. The benefit highlights the potential advantages of currency diversification. The BRICS alliance is actively working to diminish the US dollar's global financial influence. This initiative is largely motivated by a collective aspiration for greater economic autonomy. BRICS nations seek to establish a more balanced and multipolar international financial system. De-dollarization involves reducing reliance on the US dollar in trade and financial transactions. This includes promoting the use of local currencies and alternative payment systems. The BRICS strategy aims to create a financial landscape less dominated by a single currency. The current financial landscape demands a re-evaluation of conventional perspectives. It is crucial to critically rethink our understanding of money and its role in society. A deeper analysis of risk assessment methodologies is essential for informed decision-making. The structure and dynamics of the global financial order warrant careful scrutiny. Comprehensive financial documentaries offer valuable insights into these complex topics. Subscribe now for in-depth explorations of critical financial issues and trends. Consider diversifying investments across multiple asset classes. Explore international markets and currencies to reduce dollar dependency. Invest in tangible assets like real estate or precious metals. Seek advice from a qualified financial advisor. Continuously monitor and adjust your portfolio as needed. Stay informed about global economic trends and their potential impact. The petrodollar system was established in the 1972. It mandated that oil-producing nations sell oil exclusively in US dollars. This requirement created a consistent global demand for US currency. The petrodollar system significantly bolstered the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. It provided the United States with substantial economic and geopolitical advantages. The system effectively cemented the dollar's global dominance in international trade and finance. The euro is a major global currency. The euro has encountered various economic and political challenges. Despite its significance, the euro has not fully replaced the US dollar as the dominant global currency. The US dollar continues to maintain a leading position in international finance and trade. Digital currencies are emerging as a new force in the global financial landscape. These currencies include both decentralized cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. CBDCs are digital forms of a country's fiat currency, issued and regulated by its central bank. The rise of digital currencies presents potential alternatives to the US dollar in international transactions. A weaker dollar can lead to increased costs for imported goods. American consumers may experience higher prices on imported services. This is due to the reduced purchasing power of the dollar relative to other currencies. As import prices rise, consumers may face inflationary pressures. The overall cost of living for American consumers could increase. Investors should consider diversifying their portfolios. Diversification involves including a variety of assets. These assets may be denominated in different currencies. This strategy can help mitigate risk. Currency diversification can protect against fluctuations. It is a key element of a robust investment strategy. Governments and international organizations must respond to shifts in the global financial environment. This response may require adapting existing policies. Policy adjustments are needed to reflect the evolving financial landscape. These changes ensure policies remain relevant and effective. Adaptation is crucial for maintaining stability and fostering growth in the global economy. Technology can be instrumental in enabling cross-border transactions. This facilitation extends to transactions involving alternative currencies. Technological solutions can streamline the processes involved. Such solutions may reduce complexities associated with currency exchange. Technology can enhance the efficiency and accessibility of these transactions. The IMF's Special Drawing Rights, SDR, is a basket of currencies. SDRs have the potential to play a greater role in the global financial system. The value of the SDR is based on a weighted average of several major currencies. It serves as a supplementary international reserve asset. BRICS nations are adopting bilateral agreements to facilitate trade. These agreements promote the use of their own national currencies for transactions. This strategy allows them to bypass the US dollar in international trade. The shift aims to reduce reliance on a single dominant currency. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, is a regional entity. The SCO aims to foster economic cooperation among member states. A key objective of the SCO is to reduce dependence on the US dollar. This initiative seeks to promote financial diversification within the region. The SCO facilitates alternative economic and financial systems. The dollar's dominance significantly influences global debt markets. A decline in the dollar's status could destabilize dollar-denominated debt. This destabilization may lead to increased borrowing costs. Investors might demand higher returns to compensate for increased risk. Reduced demand for dollar-denominated debt could also occur. These shifts could impact both sovereign and corporate debt markets. A shift in the global financial order can trigger substantial geopolitical consequences. These consequences often manifest as alterations in the balance of power between nations. Nations with greater financial influence may exert increased geopolitical leverage. Conversely, nations experiencing financial decline could see a reduction in their global influence. Such shifts can reshape international alliances, trade agreements, and diplomatic relations. The redistribution of financial power can lead to new geopolitical strategies and potential conflicts. Currency risk assessment is crucial for both businesses and individuals. Entities must evaluate their vulnerability to currency fluctuations. Effective strategies are needed to mitigate potential losses from these fluctuations. Proactive risk management helps protect financial stability against currency volatility. Financial literacy is essential in today's rapidly evolving global economy. Understanding the global financial landscape is increasingly important. Informed financial decisions require a grasp of international economic trends. Changes in global finance directly impact personal financial well-being. Financial literacy empowers individuals to navigate complex financial systems. Staying informed is key to making sound financial choices in a globalized world. The Triffin dilemma arises when a nation's currency serves as the global reserve currency. This situation creates a fundamental conflict for the issuing country. The conflict lies between domestic economic objectives and international monetary responsibilities. The country must supply enough of its currency to meet global demand. However, this can lead to excessive currency creation and potential inflation at home. Balancing these competing demands is the core challenge of the Triffin dilemma. Several nations are actively creating alternative systems to SWIFT. These systems aim to support and streamline international financial transactions. The development of these alternatives is driven by a desire for greater control. It also promotes resilience in the face of geopolitical pressures. These systems seek to reduce reliance on the SWIFT network. The Belt and Road Initiative is a Chinese strategy to promote infrastructure development. It aims to enhance trade connectivity across Asia, Africa, and Europe. The initiative involves investment in roads, railways, ports, and other infrastructure projects. A potential impact of the Belt and Road Initiative is the reduction of reliance on the US dollar. This could occur through increased trade and financial transactions in other currencies. The initiative has significant implications for global trade and economic power dynamics. Central banks might have to modify their monetary policies. This adjustment is necessary to accommodate shifts in the global financial landscape. These shifts can include changes in inflation rates. They also include fluctuations in economic growth. Additionally, changes in international trade dynamics may necessitate adjustments. The goal is to maintain economic stability and achieve desired policy outcomes. Trade finance is subject to potential evolution. This evolution may involve the adoption of alternative currencies. Alternative payment systems could also be integrated. These changes aim to modernize and diversify trade transactions. Such adaptations could enhance efficiency and accessibility in global commerce. Individuals should proactively assess their financial positions. Businesses should evaluate potential impacts on their operations and investments. Consider diversifying assets to mitigate risks associated with specific markets or currencies. Review and adjust investment strategies to align with anticipated changes. Explore opportunities to strengthen financial resilience. Preparation is key to navigating potential shifts in the global financial order. Consulting financial advisors is a proactive approach to financial management. Financial advisors provide guidance to both individuals and businesses. They assist in navigating complex and evolving financial environments. Their expertise can help in making informed financial decisions and achieving financial goals. The future trajectory of the global financial system remains uncertain. The rise of BRICS nations represents a significant shift in global economic power. BRICS's growing influence is reshaping international financial dynamics. The trend of de-dollarization is gaining momentum across various nations. These factors collectively pose considerable challenges to the existing financial order. Is the dollar's global dominance nearing its end? Or will the dollar adapt to maintain its position? The future role of the dollar in the global economy remains uncertain. The question lingers: adaptation or decline for the dollar?